Hello and welcome to Brainy Gardener. Today it is all about how to grow and care for Aloe maculata. Aloe maculata, also called Soap Aloe, is a beautiful succulent that grows in rosettes, with distinctive sword-shaped leaves marked with white spots. The leaves are green with a white pattern, but they change color depending on the lighting conditions. Soap Aloe doesn't get too big, remaining of manageable height throughout its lifetime. It forms rosettes, which means its leaves are arranged around a central point instead of forming branches like other plants. A hardy succulent, Aloe maculata handles frost like a champ. It will bounce back if kept in poor conditions for too long. Aloe maculata will survive anything you throw at it. But if you're growing this aloe and want to get the most out of it, here are some tips for success. Aloe maculata does best in full sun, but can tolerate partial shade. If you're growing it indoors and have a sunny window, place your plant there. Soap Aloe requires well-draining soil. If your soil is heavy or clay, consider amending it with sand or perlite to improve drainage. This aloe has no problem growing in a container, but add rocks or gravel to the bottom of the pot, so its roots don't sit in water. Soap Aloe thrives on neglect, but you want to be sure it doesn't dry out completely. Water once every 2 weeks or so. Avoid overwatering to prevent any problems with root rot down the road. Soap Aloe does not need to be fertilized, but it can benefit from a small amount of fertilizer once or twice a year. Choose a water-soluble formula to prevent burning the plant's roots. Soap Aloe does best when temperatures are between 55 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit, with a minimum of 50 degrees. A south-facing window is ideal because it will receive the most amount of light and warmth. Maintain average room humidity, and you should have no problems with your aloe. Soap Aloe does not need to be pruned, but you can do so if desired. The best time is during the spring months when the plant is actively growing. Remove dead leaves and stems at this time to promote healthy growth in the future. Aloe maculata does not need to be repotted or moved. It can stay in the same pot for several years. If you want to change its location, choose a new pot that is slightly larger than the old one. Moving your aloe too often can cause it stress and lead to sunburn spots on its leaves. The best time to repot is at the beginning of spring, when the plant is at its most vigorous. Prepare the pot. A container that is only slightly larger than the old one is best. Choose one that drains well and has holes in the bottom for proper aeration. Prepare the soil. A well-draining soil mixture that contains peat moss or perlite will do. Choose a spot that is sunny and protected from drafts. Remove the plant from its container. Use a sharp knife to cut away any dead or decaying roots. Place the plant in its new pot to sit at least 1 inch below the rim. Fill around the root ball with soil and pat firmly to remove air pockets. Water well and wait for the plant to become established. Soap Aloe is a versatile aloe, able to propagate from seeds, offsets, and cuttings. Offsets are the most convenient method and offer the quickest results, which is why they are recommended. Here's what you do. Choose an offset that is at least 1 year old and has its roots. Cut the offset from the mother plant with a sharp knife, ensuring not to damage any leaves or growth points. Allow the offset some time to callus over in preparation for planting. Plant the offset in a well-draining soil mixture, such as coarse sand and perlite. Water the plant thoroughly after planting and allow it to dry out between watering. In about 6 weeks, new leaves will begin to grow from around the base of the offset. Soap Aloe produces orange to red tubular flowers on a stalk from winter to spring. You'll want to keep an eye out for these blooms because they're one of the main reasons that this plant is so sought after by gardeners. If given the proper care, these blooms can appear year-round. Soap Aloe is non-toxic. The gel from the leaves can be used as soap to wash off dirt from the naked skin. So it is completely safe to have grown around the house. Mealybugs, scale insects, and aphids are some of the common pests of these plants. Mealybugs are small insects you may not even notice at first. These pests suck sap from plants and can destroy them if left untreated. Control these by wiping them off with a cotton swab dipped in rubbing alcohol. Scale insects are tiny pests, usually brown or black, and look like small and round shells stuck to the plant's surface. They suck sap from plants and can cause leaves to turn yellow or drop off. Control them by spraying them with insecticidal soap or horticultural oil. Aphids are sap-sucking insects that can be green, black, or red, and are usually found on the underside of leaves. Spray with a strong jet of water to knock them off your plants, and then use an insecticidal soap spray. Please note and avoid overwatering the plant, placing it under harsh sunlight, using poorly drained potting mediums, and fertilizing during the dormancy period. Overwatering, overfertilization, and browning leaves are some of the most common problems of these plants. Too much water can lead to root rot and disease. Be sure to water deeply but infrequently. Water when the soil is dry about an inch down, then allow the plant to dry out in between watering sessions. Too much fertilizer can cause the roots to grow too fast, which weakens the plant and makes it more susceptible to disease. It is best to use organic fertilizers that are water-soluble and slow release. Browning leaves can be a sign of underwatering or overwatering. Adjust your care routine accordingly.